Lewis.
Okay. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we pause this time, Lord, and just acknowledge you and lift you up and thank you for all the blessings you give us, Lord. And especially right now, these days, we want to lift up a prayer for the people in Israel and Gaza and the whole Middle East, Lord. We just pray for peace in your hand in that situation. Lord, we ask you bless this time we have together. We want to lift up in prayers the men and women who serve this department and serve this state. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kristen.
Okay. 1, Purcell.
Present.
2, Ms. Williams. Present. 3, Mr. McIntyre. Present. 4, Mr. Brown.
Here with the
5, Ms. Key.
Present.
6, Mr. Bowen.
Present.
7, Mr. Thompson.
Present.
8, Mr. Golden.
Here.
9, Ms. Dunn.
Here.
10, Mr. Boswell.
Here.
11, Mr. Lewis.
Here.
12, Mr. Morris.
He's trying to get a call in number.
Okay, yeah. 13, Ms. Lemon. And 14, Mr. Gravely.
Here.
All right, thank you very much. We now have the approval of the minutes from minutes board member.
So moved for approval.
Move in a second in discussion. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
And opposed, vote aye. The minutes are approved. Thank you. We now have a report on the project November 11 by Albert Shelby.
So, good morning, Chairman Brown.
Good morning.
Commissioner, members of the board. I'm here to present the projects that the department is proposing to advertise for the November 2023 letting. So, before we present November 2023, we have the results of FY 2024 so far. We have let a total of 100 projects in fiscal year 2024. The chart shows the number of projects by improvement type. The value of these 100 projects is approximately $684 million through the September 2023 bid awards. Of the 100 projects, 97 were GDOT let with an approximate value of $674 million, and 3 local let projects worth approximately $10 million. This chart shows the dollar amount distribution by improvement type, with maintenance, safety, and bridge projects making up the bulk of these types. Here are the results of the September 2023 letting. Of the 32 GDOT let contracts presented to the board, 31 were awarded and 1 was withdrawn. Now I'm going to discuss the November 2023 letting. We have a total of 24 projects with 23 GDOT and 1 local let. The next 3 slides list the 23 non-TIA projects arranged by congressional district. So as you can see with this slide, we are letting a variety of projects throughout the state to address bridge capacity, enhancement, maintenance, and safety issues. The first highlighted project will resurface State Route 4, which is also US 1, from Jefferson County line to South Prong Creek for approximately 11 miles. This was last repaved in 2009, 14 years ago. This next project will resurface State Route 1 loop from State Route 20 to State Route 1 for 8.07 miles. This section was last repaved in 2007, 16 years ago. This next project will resurface I-59 from State Route 136 to I-24 for 9 miles. This section was last repaved in 1996, 27 years ago. This next locally led project proposes to add a 16-foot raised median and 3-foot inside shoulders, as well as 4-foot bike lanes and 8 to 10-foot enhanced sidewalks on both sides of State Route 120, which is also Abbott's Bridge Road, from Parsons Road to State Route 141, which is Medlock Bridge Road. This is an excellent example of our successful partnership with both GDOT and the City of Johns Creek. This next project will replace the existing Gorman Road wooden bridge spanning the CS6 rail line with a new bridge while traffic is routed through an off-site detour. This bridge was built in 1940, 83 years ago. And here's why it'll be an off-site detour. That's a town bridge of that, the view's not shown. So this next project will widen State Route 237, which is also Piedmont Road, to add north and southbound through and right turns between Peachtree Road and Lennox Road, making State Route 237, which again is Piedmont Road, 3 lanes in each direction. It will also provide an opportunity for bicyclists and pedestrian facilities that can serve as an alternative mode of transportation for both the residents and visitors alike, and patronizing the various businesses and commercial uses along Piedmont Road, while also serving to provide a future connection to the Path 400 trail. This is another example of our successful partnership with both ourselves at GDOT, the City of Atlanta, and Buckhead CID. This next project consists of adding passing lanes at 4 sites along State Route 31, which is US 221, northeast of Valdosta, Georgia, in Lowndes and Lanier counties. The passing lanes will be added through a symmetrical 6-foot widening on both sides of the existing pavement. The typical section for all sites will feature a 12-foot travel lane in both directions with a 12-foot passing lane, and a 10-foot outside shoulder with 2 feet of it being paved. This next project will be advertised in November as a design-build job. The actual let date is not until July of 2024, but we are advertising it early to receive an abundance of quality bids. Here is that project. The project is one of 3 projects designed to provide a more efficient access to the Bryan County mega site development and the surrounding area. The proposed improvements will offer several benefits to the corridor, including providing congestion relief, diverting traffic away from the local roads and intersections, providing more efficient access to the interstate system, and improving operations to accommodate future traffic volumes. Next, I will present the One TIA project in the November letting. This is that project, and it is in the southern Georgia region. The project will construct 2 passing lanes, 1 in each direction, between the cities of Nichols and Alma, Route 32 in Coffee and Bacon counties. The total length of the proposed passing lanes is approximately 2.4 miles, a TIA investment of approximately $1.1 million, with $6.8 million of state funds totaling $7.9 million. So we have 24 projects proposed for the November 2023 letting, with 23 GDOT and 1 local let. This chart shows the distribution by improvement type. The estimate of the projects in the November letting is approximately $168 million. This chart shows the dollar amount distribution by improvement type. I now ask for your consideration for approval of the proposed projects presented for the November 2023 letting.
I got a vote motion. Second. Motion and a second. In discussion. All in favor, aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, and the motion is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shepherd. I asked Ms. Sue Ann Decker, Assistant Director for Strategic Systems Planning, to come forward.
Thank you, Chairman Brown. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone, commissioners, board members. I'm Sue Ann Decker. I'm the new Assistant Director of Planning, and today I'm going to bring to you the changes to the construction work program. So these 2 projects Matt brought to you last month. It's the technology installations Phases 3 and 4. He brought them to you for review, and this month I'm bringing them to you for approval.
Okay. Any more motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion second, discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Motion prepared. Thank you. Thank you very much, Sue. Commissioner.
All right, second.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the board.
Good morning.
Pleasure to see you this morning. Appreciate the great day yesterday at OMAT. That was a great little field trip, and certainly had a good time, and it certainly was a pleasure to see what great employees and the passion they have for the jobs that they do, ensuring quality through testing and materials analysis and all the work that goes into for you to say yes to advance these jobs to be built. You saw a little bit of a glimpse of the work that's necessary up front before we ever get to that point. So certainly exciting to be there yesterday. Thank you all for attending. Let me start, as always, with our state fund collections. So we're looking back into September. We had collections that total $212 million. $193 million were excise. And I know there's a little bit of a lag there since the gas tax has been suspended by the governor, but so we did have some of that come in as in September. $18.7 million in transportation fees. That brings fiscal year to date to $617 million. The breakdown of that is about $558 million of that is in excise. The balance being roughly $59 million in transportation fees, bringing year to date to $561 million. That's $561 million, sort of more than we were last year, but it's sort of hard to compare year to year because of some of the suspensions of gas tax. Let me remind you that as we're together next month, that will be the day before the continuing resolution ends with federal funding. So as Albert presented you the projects for this month, and as we present projects for next month, we will be sort of into a lurch potentially. We'll have to see what happens congressionally with funding, but we'll see. Maybe something happens before we're together on the 16th. The expiration is on the 17th. We'll keep you posted next month. It possibly could have an impact, I'll say likely to have an impact on our future lettings, portion of December and certainly January, depending on what happens. If anybody has idea or can tell me, that'd be great. But we'll see what happens. All right, let's go to employment data. Again, highlighting the great work at our OMAT team yesterday. Our staff is absolutely the most important asset we have. And so we, closing out last month, 3,886 employees. We hired 55 employees last month. Think about that, 55 and plus better than one a day, right? So hired 55, we had 55 separations. So we netted a goose egg, but important, we didn't go in the opposite direction, so it's not positive, but it's not negative. So, but a tremendous amount of work again by our HR and all our hiring managers and offices to onboard 55 people. That's still quite a significant effort, so I want to thank them. Let me move into procurement. Yes, Jeff. Yes, sir.
On these new hires that come in, are these positions, are they pretty competitive positions? Are there a number of applicants applying for them, or do we have a lower pool applying for them than normal, or can you comment to that?
I think it sort of runs the gamut. It depends on what it is, as far as the competitive nature of what those are. So it probably varies from job to job. So, but we are being able to attract people. That is a good news. The candidate pool, I don't have a number. We might can pull sort of what the average candidate pool number is. It usually starts pretty good and then gets narrowed down as you go through pre-screening. So, but again, we're using Indeed and using virtual interviews and things like that to try to do it a lot more quickly. One of the benefits of Indeed is like actually the applicant can schedule the interview on their schedule. Instead of us saying you've got to come here on a certain day and time, there's flexibility, and so we're trying to be very flexible in those opportunities. So, yep, good question. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just a comment. Just to answer your question, they are out there hustling, trying to find the candidates. I want to thank Monica Ivy and her team. My church recently held a hiring event, and they participated in that. I really appreciate them being a part of that, because there are, folks out there, especially on the maintenance side, who are available and willing to work. We just got to figure out ways to get to them. Yeah. And again, I want to thank Monica and her team for participating in that. And
we thank you for that opportunity, because those, again, we've got to seek out different opportunities from what we previously have done. So having those kind of opportunities, and I just got informed today that we're going to go to this different hiring event over, I think it's going to be in the Newton County area. That's sort of outside of a transportation, but somebody had reached out and said, hey, we'll have people there that may like transportation. So we're engaging again, trying to get to a sort of a different job fair kind of thing that we traditionally would not go to. So we're again trying to expand that. I've got more on hiring and recruitment in just a little bit later. Professional services procurement for last month, we executed 142 contracts valued at $49.8 million. A lot of that is some of those things you saw yesterday, where we do have consultant services helping us with geotechnical work and some of the lab work, that testing. Those are consultant contracts, but also right-of-way and engineering and design and things like that. As we look at this total fiscal year to date, 526 contracts have been executed, totaling $264 million. So continue down that trend line. Let me jump into a few projects. Again, just as a few representative samples of projects that opened up last month. We'll start in Congressional District 8 down in Tift County, which is GDOT District 4. This is a state of good repair project of resurfacing 10.3 miles along State Route 35 from Colquitt County line up to State Route 520. The contractor was Scruggs Company. Opened up to traffic on September 28th. That 10 miles of paving represented a $9.5 million capital investment, and you can see the picture there. And you also like the picture on the left. You can see where they began at the county line. You can see the stark difference. So that next section, that back toward the bottom of the picture, will get resurfaced at a later date. But you can see preventative maintenance already being done. The cracks, you can see the black squiggly lines or cracks being filled to preserve that pavement until we come back and again and resurface it. So I really like that picture on the bottom left. This project also was completed at slightly ahead of schedule, so that's good. Now let's move into a local bridge investment in Congressional District 12 in Richmond and Burke County line, on the Richmond-Burke County line, which is GDOT District 2. This is a bridge replacement on Old Waynesboro Road over McBeans Creek. The contractor was Palmetto Infrastructure Incorporated. Opened up to traffic on September 20th. It represents a $2.6 million investment. You can see the before and the after. So certainly glad to have a good, nice, strong structure there on over McBeans Creek on Old Waynesboro Road. This project also opened pretty significantly ahead of schedule. The scheduled completion date was in March of next year. So glad to get it done sooner rather than later. We'll stay in Congressional District 12 in McDuffie County. This is another capital bridge replacement project, but also this time on a state route, on State Route 10 over Sweetwater Creek. The contractor was Clearwater Construction. This opened up for traffic on September 22nd, represents a $5.2 million investment. And you heard yesterday from Eric Rohde the cost of what bridges are, and this is a great example of, if you want to see what $5 million looks like, it's all in that picture right there. So that's a $5 million bridge replacement on State Route 10. We move now into Congressional District 14, another local bridge investment up in Walker County, which is GDOT District 6. And this is a bridge on Old Tryon Highway over Dry Creek. The contractor is Tally Construction. This project opened up to traffic on September 27th. It represents a $2.5 million investment. So the previous one was a little over $5 million. This is $2.5 million. And sort of to Albert's point of off-site detour, I believe this had an off-site detour. I liked his off-site detour. That's a pretty good need for one when the bridge is out. That wraps up our traditional projects, but also like to highlight all the multimodal projects we do and get open for traffic. So I'm going to highlight two projects on Georgia DOT state-owned rail lines. And this is utilizing a federal Consolidated Rail Infrastructure and Safety Improvement Grant, which we affectionately call CRISI, because it's a lot easier to say. And CRISI grants are generally 50-50, so we actually used state bond money and CRISI grant money to do these projects. The first project's on the Heart of Georgia Midland Line, which runs through Congressional District 2, 18, and 12. The Heart of Georgia Midland Line reactivated 1.14 miles of track, included new ties, rail balancing, and surfacing of rails. And so that was, again, the grant money for that. And the second project's on the Chattanooga-Chickamauga line, which is really an active line in that part of the world, supporting a lot of the manufacturing that is there. That project did 20,000 cross ties. If you ever picked up a cross tie, you know how heavy they are. That's 20,000 cross ties, 8,750 tons of ballast aggregate, and then installing 500 feet of track length of crossings. And you can see here is just a rural crossing shown in both of those, which is just getting people across the railroads in rural areas. Of course, the Chickamauga line is up in Congressional District 14 and Chickamauga, Chattanooga, and so glad to have those rail investments upgraded. Now let me move into some updates, personnel announcements, awards, and recognitions. We'll start with a couple of personnel announcements. We'll start with, on the left, Ms. Haral Patel will now be the new director of our Public-Private Partnerships Division. She is filling Joe Carpenter's job, who has retired, so she is sliding over to take on this role in the Public-Private Partnership Division. That will create a vacancy as the Director of Engineering in the role she's in now, which we'll advertise for and select candidates. Also, as yesterday, as mentioned, Mr. Patrick Allen, who was leading OMAT, is now the Division Director of Construction, which has the State Construction Office, OMAT, and Construction Bidding Administration. Will be under his leadership, and that will create an opportunity at OMAT to create the position for the office head as a state materials engineer. So we'll have some more hiring to do, as we've talked about hiring. So look forward to those. I just remind you that Mark Masternardi was previously the Director of Construction and also Deputy Chief Engineer to MEG. He's going to continue to do his Deputy Chief Engineer role. We did not get rid of him. He still has lots to do, and so anyway, nothing happened to Mark, and he's committed to be with us for another 10 years. So that's fantastic. We've got that. That's on official record now. It's been recorded. Huh? Double of what you get. Yeah. All right. So congratulations. As I mentioned opening, you know, our people are the best. And Haral's been a long dedicated employee. I should have said that, over 28 years of experience for Haral. Patrick started in 2005. So again, commitment is just par excellence of commitment to DOT and and to making it better. So thank them for their leadership roles. I look forward to have the opportunity for you to work with them in their new roles as well. All right, let me move into, really quick on the trigger here. Let me highlight again and remind you that we're in an active procurement for the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure charging. As we've presented to you before, using the federal NEVI funding, as we call it, to put chargers across Georgia's interstates, such that there's DC fast chargers every 50 miles that have capabilities of 150 kW capacity of charging, and it has to be 4 of those. So we had our plan approved, we had our updated plan approved through Federal Highway, but as part of that process, again, the first efforts are along our interstates. We are in an active procurement now to deploy the first of those chargers. Only Ohio and Hawaii have actually executed any contracts yet with NEVI. In fact, they did the groundbreaking for Ohio just yesterday, I think, for their first charger. So we are, like a lot of states, are working through this very new thing. But one of the opportunities that exist is to create other routes. You have to identify through Federal Highway alternative fuel corridor routes that we call AFCs. And so you have to get in line and say, these are the routes we would like to expand the NEVI charging federal funding to in the future. You have to do the interstates first, and then you can move away from interstates and start working on other routes. So we wanted to go ahead and get this in line. You can see on the map, US 27 is certainly that westernmost north-south corridor that's very important for many reasons, including hurricane evacuations when we have to do that, but a very important corridor to get electrified for our EV future, as well as US 76 and State Route 515 that runs across the very north part of the state, one of the few really east-west corridors. And again, so glad to add those. They have been added under the term corridor pending. That's a federal highway term, but now that we have those in the corridor pending, it allows us to ultimately deploy NEVI chargers along those corridors. That timeline is undetermined. We've got to get the interstates first, and we'll see how long that takes. We're doing the first procurement is, I think, around 5 sites, 3 to 5 sites, and then we have many more to do before we jump on these corridors. I would say it will be several years before we get there. So, and again, the NEVI funding is by federal fiscal year, so we do have to pace at the availability of the federal money. But they will be toward the end of the line, but glad to have them. Okay, let me jump back to the recruitment theme a little bit. Just in September, Nicole Glenn was here and presented to you what all we're doing from the recruitment point of view. And she mentioned previously about campus takeovers. Well, she arranged another UGA campus takeover last month, which was amazing. It turned out to be a multi-day event of where the department spoke to 6 classes, held joint meetings with 135 students. I spoke that evening to the ASCE student chapter, again, about 135 students at that event, including the dean of engineering. I don't know about y'all, but I still feel a little uncomfortable when you got to be in front of the dean, you know. I hope I got a good grade. So I wanted to be on his good list, not the bad list. But again, we were featured at UGA in engineering as the employer of the day. So there was emphasis across the entire engineering school about, hey, GDOT's here, what they do. I mean, just amazing to see what Nicole and her team did. She also worked with 25 high school students on a campus tour. So we even engaged as students were coming in, like, hey, we're GDOT, here's what we do, as they're looking to be a student at UGA. I want to give, again, a special shout out to Nicole Glenn, our recruitment manager, for organizing the event. It takes lots of organization and coordination with professors to be able to enter in their class. Don Diggeman, our state bridge engineer, I don't know how many, I think he taught all day. And I came into one class and they were just glued to Don's every word about him talking about bridges and structures and things that happen to bridge and structures, like being hit or falling down and things like that. So he had them really listening. And one of the coolest things though was Nicole, as he was talking about DOT, Nicole took a picture and there was a student on his laptop applying to be an intern as Don was talking. So that's pretty good. I mean, she had a picture and I was like, that is awesome. So paying dividends immediately. Also, a shout out to Patrick Allen, who you saw yesterday, for being there. Andy Casey, Sam Harris, Patrick Ryan, and Jules Stone. We had those folks were there teaching classes and talking about what we do, because what we do is not well understood, as you saw yesterday at OMAP. And especially at engineering, you really don't understand the breadth and depth of what you can do with your degree. So certainly we know that to pay dividends for interns and ultimate employees of GDOT. So thanks to Nicole and everybody for their participation. Now, we engage obviously with a lot of other universities, and as you move through your undergraduate work, a lot of students get into graduate work and research, and very excited to update you that, again, just a few weeks ago, in fact, we hosted the Georgia Transportation Institute, or GTI as we call it, to hold a transportation research poster session here at One Georgia Center. So back in 1998, the Georgia Transportation Institute was established, and really what it does is to coordinate transportation research. And most states have this, and this is funded through federal research money. So we administer those funds and work with GTI. Georgia Tech across the street is our lead institution that sort of manages in the big umbrella of GTI, but it includes the following universities. And I want to make sure you hear all of these, because there's so many universities involved under GTI. We have Albany State University, Clark Atlanta University, Emory University, Georgia Southern University, Georgia State University, KSU, Mercer University, Savannah State, the University of West Georgia, and the University of Georgia. So we have, under that big umbrella of research, this is how we work and to do transportation research. It's a big list. I didn't want to leave anybody out, but they look at all kind of broad topics, everything from policy, planning, environmental, design, traffic operations, technology, anything that can be researched they do. The poster sessions, as you see here, are their research topics. This is a very engineering thing, that how you take a research topic, and if anybody's been in research, you do your poster sessions, which is basically a big white paper of the type of research you're doing and what the outcomes are you found thus far. And of course, every research project I ever see, their final conclusion is more research is needed. But this is a great thing to highlight, and this whole room was full of research. And again, we may bring in some posters and put either in the lobby back here so that you can see what some of these topics are. Maybe have some students come and just talk to you before a board meeting or after a board meeting. We're going to try to see if we can organize that. It is a little hard to organize, but it's just amazing to see how advanced things are. And the good thing about research is we try to actually implement an outcome from any of the research that we sponsor. We want to take the research, try to put it into practice. So fantastic opportunity there. So I want to thank everybody for making that happen. Now let me turn just a little bit away from that and talk about our focus on safety. In fact, going on right now in Kansas City, Kansas, is the AASHTO's Safety Summit. And the Safety Summit is really focusing on the national challenge every state is seeing with increased fatalities. And we saw, as I've given you fatality numbers over time, we saw those really trend up nationally during COVID, in fact, when there was less traffic. And so fatality numbers have gone tremendously up. I remind you that last calendar year, there was 1,821 fatal accidents in Georgia or people that passed away, not accidents, but people that passed away. That number, again, was trending in the wrong direction. Year to date in Georgia, there's been 1,248 fatalities on Georgia's roadways, which is just way too many. It is trending about 15% down from last calendar year at this same time, and we're getting close to the end of the year, but that's a good sign, but one is too many. And in fact, in the safety area, we talk about toward zero deaths or zero fatalities. That's the mission. And sort of achieving that mission is we will join on, as Georgia DOT, join on with US DOT and Federal Highway to the National Roadway Safety Strategy. And that safety strategy is holistic in what we do, embracing something called the Safe Systems Approach that is led through Federal Highway. That Safe System Approach is focused on safer vehicles, safer speeds, safer roads, post-crash care, because if you can care for somebody, they may not be a fatal, and of course, safer people. And so let me transition and focus on these next two topics on the safer people part of that, which comes with education. And you can see here up in Jefferson, Georgia, we had another Safe Driving Summit hosted by our partnership with Let's See 43. This is the third summit we've had this calendar year, or this academic year, actually. I want to thank Jamie Boswell for being there. Many of you have participated at these, and Jamie, thank you for being there and speaking there. We had 2 visiting school district superintendents as well, and a few more principals who expressed their interest to host a summit in their districts as well. So it's continuing to gain traction and to begin to grow as more and more school superintendents and principals are learning about our safe driving summits that we're having. So very good. We have 2 more events coming up in November, and I'll keep you posted on that. So thanks, Jamie, for being there. And thank all of you for your continued support, either making relationships or helping people help find places to host these, and certainly in your attendance. Again, safer people. So October 7th actually marked Georgia's inaugural Slow Down and Move Over Day. It was hosted at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. The Slow Down Move Over event was organized ahead of the National Slow Down Move Over Day, which is observed the 3rd Saturday in October, which is coming up. And the primary goal of this event is to raise awareness of the critical need to react to first responders, stop vehicles, or hazards on the shoulder by what we know to do, is either slow down, move over if you can. If you can't move over, then you certainly need to slow down and give as much way as you can for people working on the side of the road. The Move Over event, Slow Down Move Over event, actually had more than 40 tow trucks from across Georgia doing a parade with all kind of equipment, the rotators, the heavy trucks that do the big commercial equipment, as well as just the normal tow and recovery vehicles. Again, glad that we could participate, but really want to give a shout out and a big thank you to the Towing and Recovery Association of Georgia, who made this possible, and certainly, again, a true partnership there. So again, trying to work on safer people and make better decisions and make informed decisions so that they're safe on our roadways. All right, let me move in now. As a reminder, get your phones out. If you're not on your phone, somebody's on their phone, I can hear it. So it's time to vote. We're sort of mid-pack, and Georgia's not mid-pack. So we need to vote early, vote often. You can vote once a day on each device. So if you've got more devices, thank you for voting. We really want to win this People's Choice Award for this great project over in Augusta, the historic 5th Street Bridge. That's been such a great resource in the community builder, if you will. Nothing like a bridge to bring people together. So thank you for voting for that. And let me end my presentation and just take a moment to recognize that we've lost many GDOT employees recently, not due to accident or tragedy, but for just different reasons and not at work. But I just wanted to bring this to your attention because it's sort of been rare to see this many people that we've lost of great employees. So I'd just like to, this is over the last 2 months, is recognize these great people that dedicated themselves to working at GDOT that are no longer with us, starting with Shanae Robinson in the Office of Materials and Testing, Robert Hughes of the Office of Program Control, Norman Smith in District 4, Cecil Corbett from District 2, Keith Whitehead from District 3. If we just take just a moment of silence, you remember them and their families, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. Again, dedicated folks. So certainly a lot of dedicated employees here. Okay, Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report. I'll be glad to take any questions or comments.
Yes. Commissioner, would you introduce our next speaker?
It'll be my pleasure.
Yes.
Let me get back to it. I want to introduce Miss Catherine Litton of the Garden Club of Georgia. Catherine and I go way back to when I was just, I met you a long time ago. I wasn't even a district engineer in District 1. She happens to be from beautiful northeast Georgia mountains, a place affectionately known and accurately known as the greater Booger Hollow area. And that is true. I'm not making that up. But a beautiful, beautiful part of the world. She has been a great friend to GDOT over the years, and she's straightened me out a few times over the years as well. When we've done some dumb things like mow down wildflowers or maybe herbicide them by mistake. Yeah. You know, so she's kept me straight, and she has been a great friend to DOT. Krista Grace is sitting here next to her, works in our state maintenance office over our landscape management group, and you know, they're responsible for the beauty of these roadways. There's a lot of things that, you know, there's some tag fees, but what the Garden Club and what Catherine's here to do today goes so far to make our roadsides and roadways much more pleasing, aesthetically pleasing. And actually I forget where I was, but there's some really good wildflowers out there right now. I saw just recently, I couldn't believe how vibrant they were at this time of year since we've had a few little cold snaps. But I just want to ask Catherine to come up. She has, like I said, been a great friend to this department for many years. Her advocacy and her work certainly leaves a legacy and an impact on Georgia in a much better way. So, Catherine, I'll invite you to come up.
Yeah.
I'm old. I'm 90 years old. It takes me a while to walk. I wanted to thank you all for me being able to be here on behalf of the Garden Club of Georgia. We do go back a long ways when he was in charge of District 1 and coming to Blairsville in Union County where I live. We have a new title for Union County. It is the moonshine capital of the world. There are 2 factories now for manufacturing legal moonshine, and it's a very popular place for one of them. They even installed a dance hall, and they have movies, and they even set up a babysitting service so that the parents who want to come and dance and get drunk can bring the children, and they'll take care of the children while the parents drink and dance. So that's a whole new thing for Union County when we used to be a dry county. But that brings in the customers, and you need to widen the roads at Blairsville. We need 4-lane roads into Blairsville and through town. It's bumper-to-bumper traffic with everybody coming to the mountains, and it's every day. It looks like somebody owns 2 vehicles and driving them both at the same time. You can't get out on the highway if you go into a shopping center or a store. So I try to pick out a spot that's got a signal light and then I make a right turn and go down and cross over a bridge and then come back if I'm wanting to go to Ingles store, because you can't get back out on the highway. So that's how things have grown, and progress is good. Since I have a lot of things here today, I brought, in order to entice people to come to Union County, we're almost really famous, more famous, used to be more famous for sorghum syrup, but now moonshine has taken over, I believe. But I brought sorghum syrup for everybody that's here. So it's on the back table, and you be sure to take you some of our world-famous sorghum syrup. And as another enticement, I wanted to give a bottle to the commissioner now, because you might not pick up one, and I wanted to give you some sorghum syrup from Union County.
I thought you were about to give me a bottle of moonshine.
Well, I'm going to get to that in a minute. You just wait. I also brought him another gift. He loved Booger Hollow Store. And I live near Booger Hollow Store, and I stop there all the time. So I brought you a gift from Booger Hollow Store. Here is a cup that says Booger Hollow Store.
It is.
And then on top of that, I brought you some moonshine jelly.
She said jelly. Jelly. Thank you. That's awesome.
He always liked to come to Booger Holler and stop there. And it really is a road named Booger Holler that comes off of 19129. So I hope you enjoy your moonshine jelly. And it has the name Booger Holler. So, and on top of that, I wanted to tell you what the Highway Beautification Program means. The Garden Club of Georgia promotes this in every way that we can, and we want to entice all of y'all to vote for all the wildflowers that you can on the highway and appropriate all the money that you can instead of building bridges that go nowhere.
Yeah.
So it would be more fun to see wildflowers, and they are beautiful. They've been fantastic this year. As I travel toward Ellijay and Blue Ridge from Blairsville, it has been so outstanding to see the wildflowers on the highway. So the Garden Club of Georgia participates in this program by enticing the different clubs to make donations every year to the wildflower program. And I wanted to show you this check. We usually have beautiful checks that are printed out, but just like everybody else, the Garden Club takes bids on buying things, and they buy the cheapest that they can find. So they have a laptop computer because they can't haul the big computer to all the meetings with all the trappings and things that go with it. So they got a laptop where they put in bids, and they got the cheapest bid they could find. I don't know where that thing is made. I never heard of that brand before, but it tore up 2 weeks after they got it. So they had to get a new one, and they got the same thing again. Well, it's torn up now, and all the checks are in that computer, in that laptop, and they had to send the thing back to the factory, and they don't know when they'll get it back. I don't know where the factory is, whether it's in China or wherever, but it's in the factory, and it's been there for 4 weeks, and they have no idea. So they made up this check, and it's all handwritten, but the most important thing is this $15,000 right here that Garden Club members have donated $25 or more from their fund to help with the wildflower program. So at this time, I want to present this to the commissioner. not a drop in the bucket for what y'all
It goes a
spend,
long way.
but it helps.
It goes a very long way. Thank you, thank you.
And we just appreciate everything that y'all are doing for the Wildflower Program, and we want you to continue.
Well, thank you.
And I have another thing, most of you, remember Sam Welborn, that was one of your cohorts here, and he retired. So we've always, enjoyed our friendship, so he called me the other day, and, I was driving on the highway going toward Jasper, and, I stopped and pulled off when I saw that it was, Sam calling. And he said, "How are you doing?" And I said, "I'm doing fine. I'm driving," and I had to pull off the highway to talk to you. I said, "You know, I'm 90 years old now." And he said, "What?" I said, "Is somebody driving you?" I said, "No, I'm driving myself." And he said, "What?" I said, "Can you walk?" "Do you need help walking?" I said, "No. I can drive 4 vehicles. I got a F-250 Ford diesel pickup, and I've got an old 21-year-old van that I drive the men to work in. I'm still in the landscape business." And he said, "That's remarkable." Said, "When you go there, you tell all the people that the flower guy said hello." And I said, "Well, I must be the flower lady." And he said, "Well, I just wanted to tell you how much you have meant to the Wildflower Program and how much I appreciate the work you've done and how much I think of you." And I said, "Thank you. I feel that it's an honor, and I will tell everybody about it. So greetings from the flower guy."
Yeah.
Thank you, and I
Thank you.
appreciate being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. I can walk back now. That was easy.
Catherine did tell me, that she is missing work for being here, so she's serious when she says she works. She's still at it. So thank you, Catherine. It goes a very long way.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. Whoa. Matt Klein.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Commissioner.
Morning.
It's a hard act to follow, but I'll try with a little bit of business here. Back in the August meeting, Mark Mastronardi presented some changes to the pre-qualification rules, which the board approved to have out for public comment. So I am back here just as a reminder. Those changes included some clarification that those rules did not apply to our alternative delivery projects. And then also it increased the base value for the subcontractor capacity formula up to $300,000. And as you guys heard at the board, at the committee meetings yesterday, you know, prices have gone up. So we think this change will help quite a bit in that area. As also we mentioned, we always try to talk to stakeholders before we put those things out for public comment, which we did. So we actually got no comments back on the rules this time. So I'm here just to ask for the kind of final approval of those changes to the pre-qualification rules.
May I have a motion? Second, motion and second discussion. All in favor, aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, and the motion carries.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is the program of the delivery committee. Jeff Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Program Delivery Committee convened on October 18, 2023 at 2:17 p.m. Board members present included myself, McIntyre, Boswell, Purcell, Brown, Williams, Thompson, Dunn, Lemon, Gravely. First order of business, Eric Rohde, State Project Review Engineer with the GDOT Office of Engineering Services, presented an overview of GDOT cost estimates with a focus on cost increases on GDOT design, bid, build, letting projects from July 2020 through September 2023. He presented the percentage increase of GDOT's engineers' estimates and the corresponding awarded low bid for asphalt resurfacing, bridge replacement, roundabout, and widening projects. He highlighted awarded low bid increases across all project types for select and frequently used contract proposal pay items. He also summarized GDOT's bid evaluation policy. No actions were taken in this committee, and the committee adjourned at 2:44 p.m. This concludes my report.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Next will be the committee as a whole, Ms. Purcell.
The Committee of the Whole convened October the 18th at 2:45 p.m. Board members present was Chairman Brown, Purcell, Boswell, Williams, McIntyre, Thompson, Dunn, Lewis, Lemon, and McGravely. First order of business. The Deputy Chief Engineer, Andrew Heath, provided an update on the department's progress on transportation improvements supporting the Rivian and the Hyundai project at the East Atlanta mega site and the Bryan County mega site, respectively. Project status information and updates were provided detailing how the department is delivering its committed improvements on time and on budget. Additionally, information was shared detailing how the state of Georgia is positioned as the e-mobility capital of America and has recently been named the best state in which to do business for the 10th year in a row. The second order of business was Jeff Stone, the State Equipment Administrator, the Office of Equipment Management, gave us an overview of the Office of Equipment Management. He explained the OEM responsibility, accomplishment, the successful training and testing rate of the employees earning their CDL license, fleet evaluation, safety at the OEM, and the office management. There was no action taken by the committee. The committee was adjourned at 3:20 p.m. This concludes the committee report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there any new business? Item 1. Any questions? If there's none, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.